play with this.
GrokTALk.
GrokTALk.
GrokTALk?
GrokTALk.
GrokTALk.
Just trying to get the... Here the, yeah.
It is GrokTALk, the pre-show for the week of December 20th. Merry Christmas to come. Soon.
Yeah, no kidding. Honestly.
Betcha Putin's wishing for a Merry Christmas at this point. Any kind of gift. He's in a world of hurt.
Yeah, they're having a tough time over there, aren't they?
Yep. His economy is about to crash. The sanctions are finally... You know, here's what I don't understand. The Russian economy is going to do what Obama wants it to do with the sanctions. The oil prices have crashed, so he's taking his feet out from underneath. But he says that sanctions won't work against the Castro brothers.
Yeah. No. Yeah, Saudi Arabia is doing us a huge favor.
Yeah, except it's going to hurt some of our shale producers, maybe.
It will, but all that infrastructure is already in place, so the Saudis won't push the price down forever. They just have to kind of, wait them out. Yeah,
but still, when I drive up to the pump in the Tahoe at $2.52 a gallon, this puts a smile on my face.
Oh yeah, I actually filled my car for under $40.
Wow. It'd be still a little bit harder if I still owned my Suburban, which had a 48-gallon tank.
It's not a Tahoe. It's a almost 15-gallon tank, I think. So, welcome to GrokTALk, the pre-show. It's a little quieter in here this week than previous.
Yeah, well, just you and me, Guy.
I know, and speaking of Guy Comtois will be here to talk to us about legislative stuff this week. The caucus, the HRA caucus, and then the Rules Committee meeting, and whatever else is going on. And we'll have Guy in every week, either on the phone or in the studio for about 15 minutes to give us a weekly legislative update every week that we are here. We will also be adding, and this is in 2015, so this is kind of a test run, but we're going to have him here for at least a whole segment. And then we will be doing something similar, 15-minute segments on the life movement. We want to do one on guns. We want to do one on education. Jorge's on board for that.
We're actually going to get formal.
Formal?
Formalized.
Formalized. There'll be a little bit more
structure.
That's the word we're looking for.
Oh gosh.
And we're going to move
Somebody's calling.
I got to guess it's Mike. Is he on line 1 or line 2? I need him on line 2.
Good morning. Mr. Flashy Last. We are doing fine. I'm going to put you down because we're going to put you on lines, Mike. And we are doing the pre-show right now.
Excellent. Well, you'll never guess what I was doing today, so put me on.
You are on. You are on.
Cool. Good morning, Steve.
Good evening, Mike.
All right. Cover your ears. Good morning, New Hampshire. From very far afield.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. You're really in Sandland.
No, not exactly Sandland. I am in India on the plateau where the city of Bangalore, known as the Silicon City, exists.
So how are things going out there?
We're going well. We're improving the expertise of the folks and their process a bit, and building relationships. And I've got a little bit of tourism in and some very long days.
I was going to say you're back in a couple days, right?
Yeah, I'm back on Tuesday night, really late.
Well, it will be nice to have you back in the States.
Sure will. So anyway, the reason I say you'll never guess what I was doing, because I've been and seen a couple of places and a couple of temples and looked at statues of sacred cows as well as the real things walking the streets. But I was told about this other temple called ISKCON, and I went there, and it's quite a grand place. It is, in fact, the world HQ of, wait for it, Hare Krishna.
Oh, splendid. So you are doing a bit of tourism.
I am, and I went to the reception. I asked a couple of questions, and they said, "Well, there'll be people looking for donations everywhere, and don't buy it. Come back here and get a receipt." So I said, "Well, what if I pay you up front and get a receipt to ward off evil spirits, kind of thing?" And they said, "Hang on a minute, we'll get somebody to come down with a receipt book." and one of the Hare Krishna priests came down, and I got the VIP tour for the princely sum of about $20.
Well, money well spent.
As a donor, and the blessings and the flower necklace and the whole 9 yards.
Well.
Pictures of the outside and postcards of the inside, because you don't flishy flash inside. Not even for Mr. Lasky.
Yeah.
Not even for Mr. Lasky. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. That's good to see. So, if you're going to be in India, you might as well get some of the touristy stuff.
Tomorrow, an early start, we're going to the city of Mysore to see the Maharaja's palace and the temple over there.
Oh, yes, Susan's favorite city, Mysore. Oh, man. So anyway, you aren't missing a heck of a lot. Oh, actually, you are. Well, you're not missing it because you have internet, so you know what's going on.
Don't even ask me about internet. Right after the show finished last Saturday, the lights blinked one more time, because they blink several times at weekends, and the internet service in my room went out.
Oh no!
And I yelled at him for 3 days straight. I hacked into the switch that fed my room that wasn't going anywhere else, and took him a diagram of what wasn't connected. Gave him another day and a half, and then went to the wiring closet with him. Wished I hadn't, because it was horribly ugly.
I can imagine.
And we still couldn't find where the broken wire went. It leaves the local switch, and somewhere 11 meters away, it doesn't plug into something else, and we couldn't find the other end of it. So in the end, they plugged my room into another switch and left the other dozen or so rooms disconnected. Because I was the squeaky wheel.
Did you have to give him $20, or was that?
No, I'm paying to stay there, and I can go somewhere else if they don't buck up.
That's true. I think it's
again. I will be staying somewhere else.
Yeah, well, I guess so, huh? The one of the things that I find interesting is when you see pictures of how they run wire in other countries, and it's usually this rat's nest of disastrousness, and then you're here and you look at our table, and there are some similarities, but it's not that bad.
Go somewhere like Kennebunkport. Go to where the roads meet in the center and look at the rat's nest in the sky above you. And there's a few places like that around, small towns, several streets meet, and it's ugly because they've kept with above-ground wires as you go into the cities. The city here, there's basically three-phase wires on metal poles running along the street, and they're not that high. Meaning certainly no higher than regular high-power poles are holding. And the transformers are reachable. They're not at the top of the poles. They're giant things that are about 8 feet off the ground.
Wow. and this is
they're not bare wires poking out of insulators. They are, in fact, thick insulated rubber cables leaving them. But I look at that and say, that's a little close for comfort.
Yeah, and I think most of us have seen some of the pictures in some of those types of environments where there's the official wires, and then there's probably 10 times as many unofficial wires coming out of that stuff.
Yeah, well, it was interesting walking down the tourist shopping street today, past a shop called Bollywood, actually called Bollywood. But more to the point, there were generators humming in a city in the middle of the day, and every shop had a generator on the porch outside in case the power went out, and they didn't all go out at the same time, apparently.
Yeah, I know that. Well, we can look forward to that here in New England pretty soon.
Yes.
The way things
are
going.
Can, if we don't get rid of Reggie.
Thanks to that and everything else. Thanks to the glorious mismanagement of our aristocratic class of politicians who have mishandled our power grid and our production capacity for 15, 20 years or whatever. Thanks so much. People are like, I actually tell people, I go, your energy rate's going to go up. Electricity rate's going to go up like 40, 50%. What? You're kidding. Or maybe they saw that, but they don't believe it. And I'm like, do you know why? Because the people you elect to political office have been screwing everything up. Oh, that can't be it. What do you think the power companies are going out of their way to not create power? That's what they do.
Yeah, well, this is because of some government policies that force them. They get more credit from the government for twisting your arm to put in curly fry extra suntan light bulbs than they do from generating more power. What kind of game is that?
Well,
and now,
hey, Mike, you know why? Because our Governor Hassan, Maggie the Red, has said that it is cheaper to save a watt than it is to generate a watt. And that's why all the progressives say you must do more with less.
You can't save what you don't have.
Yeah, that's what they don't seem to understand, because they tell us to buy all this more energy efficient stuff and it'll save you money. At the same time, they're doing stuff that jacks up the rates. And in fact, the official House Republican caucus said that lowering electricity costs was going to be one of their goals. I saw that in one of the papers. Decided I'm going to scrape this off, and let's judge Jasper by his actual what's the word I'm looking for? Accomplishments, right? And I wrote this. The only way that this is going to happen, because he said lowering electricity rate costs, that's going to be one of our big deals. The only way this is going to happen right away is by pixie dust spread from flying unicorns. All kinds of regulations would have to vanish in a flash, along with a big helping of suspending the laws of supply and demand at the same time. Or pull an Obama and just...
They'll do that. They'll legislate lower rates and wonder why the power companies go bankrupt.
Yeah, or pull an Obama and just throw out $100 bills in large quantities to electric ratepayers. This will be a fail for the Democrat-appointed Speaker Jasper. There's just so much in the way that they're still trying to shut down the Bow plant, even after putting in that $425 million scrubber that they demanded that PSNH put in. So now they want to strand that cost as well. These guys, somebody go and get rid of the PUC, please, because all they're trying to do is make life more difficult for the rest of us.
This is something I don't understand. I know Susan, sees the need for some regulation in power plants, but personally I believe that tort, liability, and insurance are what covers your ass. And if your business practices are bad, they don't cover your ass, and you either go out of business or go to jail. And that's how this stuff should work. And there shouldn't ever be public utilities commissions setting rates, which always work to the convenience of the generators, not the payers.
Well, it is. It's a monopoly, and they think just because the smart people in government are there to ride herd that everything is going to come up roses and daisies. But then, you get the skimping on this, the skimping on that because it's not regulated. They just don't seem to understand that as the government and its regulators are putting iron bars to surround entities like companies like us as individuals, there are much smarter people on the outside saying, I know how to wriggle out from the bars, and you forgot to put bars in for this, that, and the other thing. And that in itself is a recipe for disaster, because by the time they're done, we do have tyranny, not just at the end of a gun, which unfortunately most people believe tyranny only comes when an invading army shows up. But we're seeing... Are you
kidding? Look how big an army is liable to show up at your door with a gun for the slightest imagined infraction.
Well, I'm just saying, right? But it's our army is the retort, and it's like, but it's just the police. It's just the police, and people don't seem to get that connection in a real vivid, visceral way that this is the face of government when they do this. And all I do is keep thinking back to the Sinayov brothers in the hunt in Boston and the suburban areas where the SWAT teams just rolled into your house whether they had a warrant or not. And I don't think I will ever forget the picture that was snapped from a second floor window looking down on an up-armored Humvee with a state police from Massachusetts looking up over the barrel of a .30 caliber machine gun. I mean, you do this to your civilian populations?
Well, what about
in the United States?
Yeah, what about the sheriff that said recently it's the Tea Party and the protesters that make us need these high-powered armored vehicles?
Oh, he is getting such grief for that. But the unfortunate thing, they can apologize all they want, but the fact that he said it means that there is that underlying tone that they believe this is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, well, there's something interesting going on. You know, in the Midwest, I don't know if you got this overnight, nice piece of news, the usual shut-it-down types went out onto a major highway in Milwaukee, I think it was. This is the city where the black sheriff believes in self-defense and told the citizens they ought to armor up because you can't get everywhere in sufficiently few seconds.
Yep.
And the police and the sheriff's department went out and they moved those folks pronto and arrested most of them that tried to shut down the highway. So maybe they thought they were going to give Governor Walker some grief. They got rounded up and dumped in the can. And most of the comments under the Twitchy article were of the opinion, if you didn't roll right over them, and one of the things sitting there being held up was a FedEx semi, the police ought to douse them from water cannons, let them sit in the freezing cold for a little while, and then round them up.
Well, you know, I put up a quick post because Steve put up that picture of the shopkeeper at Ferguson seeing that the looters had destroyed his store. And I thought it brought back a memory of Elizabeth Warren when she was campaigning in Massachusetts to become the senator, and you know, the outbreak of the philosophy called Warrenism, of you didn't build that. And she had said something, you need to be grateful that we protect you from the bands of marauders so that you don't have to hire your own private security guards.
I saw that. Where was Elizabeth Warren when this went down?
Yeah, well, the police were standing outside the store and the National Guard were down another town. So here's the marvelous government for which Elizabeth Warren was tooting her own horn. You know, basically big progressivism, big brother, big government will, you know, its only purpose is to protect you from the marauders. Well, there's the marauders. Where's the protection? So, you know, so much for that theory, Elizabeth.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry, I'm doing stuff, so you guys keep talking.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm watching him tapping his keys and hearing the click, click.
I'm tweeting. Pre-tweeting.
You're tweeting. Yeah, I know.
Pre-tweeting.
Okay.
Pre-tweeting the show.
That's great.
Rubbing the tweets into the internet fabric, if you like. I can do this in advance. I don't have to worry about doing it during the program. So
I got a couple of requests for Photoshops, which brings us to one of our WTFs of the week. So the first one was to go and re-engineer that community chest thing for Jay Asper.
Jay Asper.
That would be the Democrat-appointed Speaker of the House, Sean Jasper.
Yes.
So that you have a couple.
So I'll take that challenge from JR, and then somebody else sent me a picture of Elmer Fudd with his hunting cap, and challenged me to somehow emblazon a rhino upon it in honor of the WTF of the week, which was the hunting camo cap from the Republican Party. Please send us money.
Right. Yes. I saw that.
We got to make up one of those for real and send it to Drew Klein.
Yeah, he's on the list. So this week's show is a little...
So Drew Klein and Mike Biondo both for not quite getting it.
No, I don't... No.
They're getting something different.
Yeah.
For their own reasons.
Yeah, Mike is not a WTF moment by any means. I just wanted to...
No. I didn't mean that. But from the point of view of misguided loyalties or hoping the party will somehow pull through, I think we don't need to send it to re-education camp. He just needs to open his eyes a little bit and watch what they do after they get to office, which is your point, of course, Skip.
Yeah, it's more of a case of, we want to hear about the people are talking about unity. Well, you can't have unity where there is no trust.
I have the right microphone. Okay. Guy has joined us. We're going to be doing. We're going to be moving into our 2015 format this week, where we're going to have legislative update at the beginning of the program. That'll be 15 minutes. We're going to keep Guy here as long as we can because there's so much stuff to talk about. As long as he can stay, we're going to use that time to fill it in. But in the future, we'll have these legislative updates every week at 9. We'll do something on education or right to life or Second Amendment. After that, we'll have a few other special features that we're going to add to the program, and then the normal crazy squirrel round will be at 10:30 to 11 at the end of the program. program, and that's when we'll talk about a lot of other stuff. But Guy came in early, and we're doing our pre-show. Program starts in 3.5 minutes, the actual program.
Yeah, we're actually live, just to let you know. Live stream camera, recording audio. Welcome to the Crazies.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Crazy is a good place to be.
And Mike's on the phone from India.
It's a very good place to be, and this week I'm not going to try and watch the live stream while I talk to you guys. That was how I burned the last of my internet bandwidth, by wiping out the remaining credits on the borrowed Indian phone.
You took down, I was going to say, maybe you took down the whole hotel with you last week. That was part of your earlier story.
Wait for the pièce de résistance. Not only is the wiring messed up, not only are some of the APs just missing with wires dangling from the ceiling, and I was seeing a bandwidth of 2 megabits in the room. So, one of the managers said, 2 megabits. And I said, yeah, per room, that's not bad. She said, no, domestic internet service, domestic grade, 2 megabits for the hotel. Thinking of America about 20, 25 years ago, when hotels advertised high-speed internet, meaning they've got something faster than a T1 coming in.
Wow. Shades of going back to when it all started at 300 baud. 300 bits. Not megabits, bits.
So I consider myself extremely lucky to be able to Skype
I have that sound here someplace. Here it is. Here it is.
Oh, he did it.
There you go.
My modem sound.
That's a fax modem sound.
Yes. Yeah, it's just, people recognize the... Everybody did this. You'd call a phone number and you'd get that. That's not the number I wanted. I'm on a voice line.
Yeah, I'm still...
Training sequence like that started with 1200 baud modems.
Yep. I just wish I could actually make a phone call out. I'm a Fairpoint customer. But not for long.
No, that's I actually have during peak season for like UPS and stuff. They bring in a lot of extra drivers. Well, our driver, the guy who's doing our route right now, our regular guy does a different route during Christmas, and this guy was a driver. He worked for Fairpoint, and he's pissed they went on strike. He didn't want to go on strike. He wants to work. Yeah. He went and got a part-time job, full-time job, working part through the holiday season for UPS as a driver. So we talk about that, every now and again, and he's just like, I don't want to do this. I just want to go back to my old job, And
yeah, well, guess what? Enough people like me who have choices. I have the ability to choose from Verizon Wireless with a network extender and use my cell phone, make that my home phone number. I'm currently with Fairpoint, but not for long because of such crappy service. Or I could go with my cable company. And guess what? Competition works.
Sure does.
And the strikers are about to get a bad comeuppance because...
People's Republic Cable.
Well, people are going to be leaving them. Then there's going to be less of them.
And we're going to be leaving you for about 20 seconds, maybe 15, because we have to start the show. Mike, stay on line. We'll be right back.
GrokTV.